Wike lambasted, protest belongs on streets, not in stadiums. Lawyer Temekun knocks Wike and other governors over court judgment. Hello viewers and welcome to InfoGist TV. Tope Temekun, a lawyer and human rights activist, has strongly denounced the government's move to arm security agencies with court orders to suppress peaceful protests. Tope described this development as a dangerous precedent, emphasizing that it is ill-conceived and will not withstand scrutiny. In a statement released, Temekun Tope reminded authorities that court orders cannot silence the cries of a hungry and desperate people. He criticized the government's new policy of seeking court orders to justify clamping down on peaceful protests, inviting military chiefs to enforce these orders and using violence to quell dissenting voices. Tope lamented that while young Nigerians are fighting for a better future, the government is squandering resources on suppressing their voices instead of addressing the pressing issues of hunger and deprivations. The statement reads in part, in a bid to stop the organized hunger protest of August 1st to August 10th in Abuja, the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, approached the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, on the 31st of July 2024 against Omoyele Sowore and 4 other activists, potentially protesters or leaders of organizing groups. He now listed the Inspector General of Police, the Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory Command, the Director General of the Department of State Security Services, Commandant General, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, who was listed as Director General instead of Commandant General, the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief Air Staff and the Chief of Naval Staff as assist to the 12th defendants. The statement said, many states of the Federation like Ogun, Lagos, and others no doubt saw the genius initiatives of Wike and have also activated their attorney generals to approach the state courts to restrict protesters to specific places dictated and assigned to them by the state government. I refrain from commenting deeply on the suit in court, but in exercise of freedom of expression that the Constitution freely gives to me, I wish to refresh the minds of the actors in this saga that Section 14 sub 2 of the Constitution provides for the relationship between the government and the people, and says that sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government through the Constitution derives all its powers and authorities, and that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government, and that the participation by the people in their government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution. On the basis of the above, I hasten to say that this suit, to the extent of taking away the constitutional rights of the citizens to democratically participate in this government through constitutional means of protest, are rooted in unconstitutionality, and the various suits and whatever orders given will not stand the test of time. The activist stated that the precipitative suits meant to halt peaceful protests are like flogging a child with a long cane and dictating to him how he must cry and the volume of his cry. He said, this is against the law of nature, just the way the suits are unconstitutional and run afoul of the Constitution. What the Constitution says is that the rights in the Constitution shall not override other law that is reasonably justified in a democratic society in the interest of defense, public safety, public order, public morality, or public health, and for the purpose of protecting the rights and freedoms of other persons. The question now is, in the face of hunger, biting a massive scale, which law is that law either existent or just enacted that is reasonably justified in a democratic society to hold public protest in the interest of defense, public safety, public order, public morality, or public health, and for the purpose of protecting the rights and freedoms of other persons, pursuant to which the government of these states and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory have asked the court to limit protesters to places chosen by the government. This is a protest of hungry citizens, a child of the Constitution, not political party rally. The natural habitat of protest is the street, not stadium. Protest, unlike football, is not fun. He noted that the Constitution guarantees the right to freedom of movement in its Section 41, which entitles the citizens to move freely in any part of the country. Meanwhile, the government at various levels, including the Federal Capital Territory and Lagos, have hired, monetized, and mobilized some hungry and pale-looking Nigerians to stage procession through the same streets to say no to protest, which is also a form of protest. This culture of rushing to court to sabotage constitutional rights will soon backfire, he stated. We should recall that the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja, had ordered protesters through a suit to limit their demonstrations to Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja less than 24 hours before the kickoff of the nationwide anti-government protest. Wike and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu ready to settle. Wike has met with the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says federal government is ready for dialogue. As protests kicks off nationwide on Thursday, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, was spotted at the presidential villa in Abuja on Thursday afternoon. Our correspondent spotted the former River State governor alighting from a black Toyota Prado sports utility vehicle and was ushered into the president's office. Though the topic of their discussion remained unknown, as of the time of filing this report, it was believed to be connected to the hunger protest, which began on Thursday with the Federal Capital Territory. As an epicenter, the Federal Capital Territory saw massive demonstrations from crowds who drugged the central business district and suburbs as security officials fired tear gas to disperse protesters. Meanwhile, the Federal Capital Territory Minister said the federal government was open to having a dialogue with the protesters. Wike stated this while handing over the staff of the office to 4 newly coordinated and coronated chiefs of Karo, Wali, Pai, and Yaba in Abuja. He commended protesters who refused to be violent and urged them to continue to remain peaceful, noting that it was better to have a dialogue and iron out issues with the government. I want you to continue with that peace process because he who makes peace will, at the end of the day, enjoy the dividends of peace. I want to commend you and urge you to still talk to our people, that we are still ready to talk to them, have a dialogue with them, and iron out the grey areas. We will also brief them on certain things they do not know so that they will be well informed and make informed decisions, the minister said. Describing Abuja as the nation's center of its unity, Wike said Abuja is for everyone, everybody. If we lose Abuja, we have lost Nigeria. That is why we have always said, let us work together. There is nothing we cannot achieve under the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Give him time and a lot of things will change. Speaking to the coronated chiefs, the minister said the traditional rulers had a lot of roles to play, adding that they were the closest to the grassroots and the interface more with the people. He said, you are the one who knows what the people feel at home. You are the ones who will tell us whether the government is making any impact or not. You will convey to your subjects what the government is doing and what the government is about to do. You are the one to sell government policies and programs to your people. If you convey a wrong message, that is what the people will accept. If you convey the right message, that is what the people will accept. So, play a very pivotal role, he said. Wike and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu ready to settle. Wike has met with the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, says federal government is ready for dialogue. Our correspondent spotted the former River State governor alighting from a black Toyota Prado sports utility vehicle and was ushered into the president's office. Though the topic of their discussion remained unknown, as of the time of filing this report, it was believed to be connected to the hunger protest, which began on Thursday with the Federal Capital Territory. As an epicenter, the Federal Capital Territory saw massive demonstrations from crowds who drugged the central business district and suburbs as security officials fired tear gas to disperse protesters. Meanwhile, the Federal Capital Territory Minister said the federal government was open to having a dialogue with the protesters.